Gone was the arrogance. Gone was the cruelty. They knelt before him, tears in their eyes, voices shaking with regret. His stepmother confessed everything: the favoritism, the discrimination, the pain she caused a child who only wanted to belong. "I thought you would never make it," she cried. "I was wrong. Please forgive me." Obinna looked at them for a long time. He remembered the hunger, the insults, the nights he cried quietly so no one would hear. He remembered how alone he felt. But he also remembered the dream. He remembered the warning. "I forgive you," he said calmly. Not because they deserved it, but because he refused to let bitterness follow him into the life he had built. When he returned to the city, Obinna did not cut them off. He reached out when he could. He supported them when necessary. Not out of obligation, but out of choice. He chose peace. And with peace came abundance. Obinna's businesses began to expand in ways he never imagined. International doors opened. Multi-billion naira deals followed. His name crossed borders. His influence grew. But more importantly, his home remained full of laughter. His children grew up surrounded by love, never questioning whether they mattered. His wife stood beside him, proud of the man he had become, not just successful but whole. One evening, as they sat together watching the sun set, his wife looked at him and smiled. "You chose peace," she said. Obinna smiled back. "And peace chose me." For the first time in his life, Obinna felt complete. Not because the past had been erased, but because it no longer controlled him. And so he lived. Not bitter. Not angry. But healed. Obinna continued to support his step-siblings. Not because of blood alone, but because he refused to let hatred be his inheritance. His businesses expanded into international markets. But this time, success no longer chased him, it followed him. He began mentoring young men from broken homes, apprentices who reminded him of himself. He taught them not just business, but character. Not just profit, but responsibility. "You may not control where you start," he told them, "but you will answer for where you end." Obinna became known not only as a successful man, but as a safe one, a man whose word could be trusted, whose help came without humiliation. One evening, sitting beside his wife, he confessed something he had never said aloud. "If I had chosen bitterness," he said, "I would have lost everything that matters." She held his hand and replied, "Peace saved you." As years passed, Obinna wrote his story down, not for fame, not for pity, but for legacy. He wanted his children and their children to know that pain does not have to become a curse. On his final birthday celebration, surrounded by family, friends, and those he had helped, Obinna looked around and smiled. This was wealth. Not money. Not power. But people. People healed because he chose forgiveness. People changed because he chose compassion. People alive because he chose peace. And when Obinna eventually rested, his name did not fade. It lived on, in homes filled with love, in children raised without fear, in men who learned that strength is not in revenge, but in restraint. His story became a lesson whispered through generations. You don't heal by winning fights. You heal by choosing peace. And that was the legacy Obinna left behind.